Hi, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'm coming on today with another word. Today is July 15th, and that word is positivity. So I want to share with you that we make an impression on others in how we show up. And so what I want to share with you is that, generally speaking, what I hear from others is that I am a very positive person. I remain extremely positive through thick and thin. And while having breakfast with a friend this morning, we talked about this a little bit further and how people might be drawn into that positivity just by seeing our faces, right? If nothing else, just our faces. So that led me to want to talk more about this word today. So for me, positivity and the feedback that I hear around my positivity is that I'm very jovial, I'm very inspiring, I'm very motivating, I am very hopeful, very affirming, right? So I'm always going to the positive when it comes to feedback. Not to say that I wouldn't give balanced feedback. And then I remain pretty much upbeat. So what I'll share with you is that that's intentional on my part. My intention is to continue to be positive, and the way that I've created this habit of being positive, because it is a habit, is to live in alignment with this 51% positive, 49% the other or negative. And what I do is I make sure that I stay within those parameters, because as long as I'm at 51%, then I'm in the positive. Now, this 49% over here is not what comes to the surface very often. What I can tell you is that it most often comes to the surface for me, and I lose my positivity or my serenity when it comes to being told no. So I'm, going along, everything's positive, I'm in the 51%, and then I'm told no about something. And this is not something new. I remember back in the 1990s when I had a conference that I was going to that was abruptly canceled, and I had a $350 non-refundable ticket. So when I called the airline and said that the conference had been canceled and that I wanted to be refunded the amount of money that I spent on the ticket, I kept getting no, no, no. And so finally what I did was I was able to get the yes by saying, can you give me credit in lieu of the cash refund? And so from there, before all of that was standard, I was able to get a yes from the no. And I can tell you that while I was professional, I was really angry and not very positive about getting told no. So because my belief system is that there is always a yes in every situation. So in relationships, in partnerships, in discussions, in any kind of interaction with another person, and it could be a negotiation, it could be whatever is going on, there's always an opportunity to get to the yes. That's how I am hardwired. I am hardwired for there's always an opportunity to get to the yes. So with that in mind, what I won't do is I won't compromise the legalities of it, the ethics of it, or the morality of it. And with that in mind, everything else over here, there is a yes that's possible. So it can be something as simple, and I invite you to test this. That's what I'm going to share with you, is I invite you to test this. So you're in a restaurant, they have an item on the menu, and it has certain components to the dish, and you ask for a substitution or an elimination or some kind of change to it. So typically what they want to do is they want to say to you, no. And what I would encourage you to do is to find the yes in it. It's typically something like this. I'd like to substitute this for this. And the answer is no. And then when I say, well, how is it possible? Then the answer is, well, for an upcharge. Okay, so it is possible. So, but again, taking that initial negativity around the no and turning it into a positive, which is a yes. So this happens in larger scale situations when you, for example, have a client and you're talking about the expectations exchange up front, you're having a wants and needs discussion, and so there's something either the client isn't willing to do or you're not willing to do yet, and what you do is through conversation, discussion, you can take that negativity, that no, and you can elevate it into the positivity, the 51%. So as a really good friend of mine used to tell me on a regular basis, basis, you already have the no go for the yes. And that really frames the exercise of taking it out of the 49% and moving it into the 51%. And again, that 51-49, what I learned was that I only have to be 51% of the time positive for it to be the majority of the time. And then what happens is that gets shared with others, and others assume that I'm 100% positive, when reality is that you peel it back and you'll find that there is this other part of me that can go as high as 49%. It's not always at 49%. It can go as high as 49%. And it's those times when I'm frustrated with, being told no, or things aren't working out, and I allow myself to experience the negativity and then move on from it back into the 51%, making sure that the 51% is my idol. It's where I sit on a regular basis in order to remain positive and show up as a person who, quite frankly, has a reputation and the perception of being always positive. So I want to dispel that myth and say I'm not always positive. I am positive 51% or more of the time. So if anything in this that I shared with you speaks to you or resonates with you, please believe that I am very approachable. I'm very easy to talk to. And I would love an opportunity to set up a one-on-one with you. And so the way that you can do that is send me an email at phil@seedandlead.com. My company's name is Seed and Lead. And of course, there is a website associated with it that goes www.seedandlead.com. And I would love the opportunity to have a conversation with you about how I might support you around remaining in the positive, especially if you're in a challenging role at work, or you have projects that you're working on that keep you from being positive. Whatever it is in your professional or personal life that keeps you from being in the 51% positive, let me share with you some of my experiences about how I created that habit. With much gratitude, until we see each other the next time. Thank you.